The courtroom rose as one, except for him. Gideon Rourke, billionaire, untouchable, smiled from his seat while the whole room held its breath, waiting to see if she would break. Judge Amara Ellis felt every eye measure her worth in that silence, testing whether dignity could survive money's casual cruelty. He refused to stand because he knew the town would let him, because respect, in his world, was something you bought, not something you gave. But what he didn't know was that humiliation has a long memory, and the law keeps receipts. This is the story of a single moment of disrespect that unraveled an empire built on fear, and the quiet, brilliant woman who made power answer for every insult. Subscribe right now and tell me where you're watching from, because this one restores your faith in justice. Amara arrived before sunrise. The courthouse stood empty and dark. She unlocked the heavy oak doors herself. Her footsteps echoed through the marble hallway. She carried her briefcase in one hand, and her robe draped over her arm. The building smelled of old wood and floor polish. Amara felt calm here in the silence. No eyes measuring her. No voices testing her authority with careful pauses. She entered her chambers and hung the robe on its hook. The black fabric swayed slightly. She touched the sleeve, grounding herself in routine. Marisol knocked softly at 7:15. "Good morning, Judge Ellis," she said. "Good morning," Amara said. "What does today look like?" Marisol set a folder on the desk. Her voice was careful. "Crowded docket. 23 cases. 1 high-profile hearing." "Which one?" Amara asked. "The Rourke development case," Marisol said. "Gideon Rourke himself is listed as attending." Amara's chest tightened. She kept her expression neutral. "I see." "The hallway is already filling up," Marisol said. "Press 2." Amara nodded. "Thank you." Marisol hesitated at the door. Her eyes found Amara's. "It's going to be a long day." "They usually are," Amara said. When Marisol left, Amara stood at the window. She watched the parking lot fill with cars. People moved toward the entrance in small clusters. Dylan Mercer stood near the courthouse steps. His uniform was crisp and his posture straight. He scanned the arriving crowd with practiced attention. Amara heard voices in the hallway now. Lawyers greeting each other. Deputies sharing quiet jokes. Citizens who avoided looking directly at the bench. She put on her robe slowly. The fabric settled over her shoulders. She felt its weight and its meaning. Amara felt aware that today would test more than law. She could sense it in the air. The town was watching. She straightened her collar and walked toward the courtroom. Her breathing was steady. Her hands did not shake. But something shifted in her expression as she reached the door. She knew Gideon Rourke's name carried power here. Money had a long reach in this town. The day was beginning. The courtroom filled quickly. Amara watched from the bench as familiar faces took their seats. Lawyers performed respect with careful nods. Deputies followed the energy of the loudest voices. Citizens looked down at their hands when she scanned the gallery. Lila Brooks stood at the defense table. She was arguing a minor trespass case. Her voice was too loud and too fast. "Your Honor, this is clearly an overreach," Lila said. "My client was simply—" "Ms. Brooks," Amara said. Her voice was calm. "Lower your volume. State your objection clearly." Lila's breath caught. "Yes, Your Honor. I apologize." Amara nodded. "Continue." Lila steadied herself and tried again. This time her words were controlled. Amara ruled on the motion without shaming her. After the case concluded, Lila approached the bench. "Thank you," she whispered. "Control serves your clients better than passion," Amara said. "Remember that." Lila nodded and left. Amara felt satisfied. Teaching mattered more than punishing. Dylan stood near the side entrance. He watched Gideon Rourke's staff arrive. They moved through the courtroom, placing folders where they pleased. They spoke loudly, as if the space belonged to them. One man sat in the jury box. Dylan walked over. "Sir, that area is restricted," he said. The man smiled. "I'm with Mr. Rourke." "It's still restricted," Dylan said. His voice was firm but polite. The man stood slowly. He moved to the gallery without apology. Dylan's jaw tightened. Marisol glanced at Amara. Her eyes showed concern. Amara kept her face neutral. The morning cases proceeded smoothly, but Amara's awareness sharpened with each passing hour. She noticed how people deferred to Gideon's team. She saw how space was made without being asked. The lunch recess arrived. Amara returned to chambers. She ate a sandwich at her desk and reviewed the afternoon docket. Gideon Rourke's case was scheduled for 2 o'clock. Her chest tightened again. She felt the familiar weight of being watched and measured. Amara stood and looked at herself in the small mirror. Her robe was straight. Her expression was composed. She returned to the courtroom. The benches were fuller now. Cameras lined the back wall. Reporters held notebooks. Today would test more than law. Amara knew it. The whole town was waiting. Gideon Rourke arrived at 2:15. He did not apologize. He smiled as he walked down the aisle. His suit was expensive and perfectly tailored. His hair was silver and styled. He moved through the courtroom as if lateness proved importance. Rowan Hale followed him. Rowan was Gideon's attorney. His briefcase was leather and polished. His handshake with the clerk was smooth and practiced. "Good afternoon," Rowan said to Marisol. "Thank you for accommodating us." Marisol's expression did not change. "We started at 2, she said. "Traffic," Rowan said. He smiled. "You understand." Marisol bristled but said nothing. She returned to her desk. Her hands moved quickly, through papers. Dylan watched Gideon settle into the front row. Gideon's posture was relaxed. He crossed one leg over the other. He looked around the courtroom as if inspecting property. Dylan felt tension rising. He tried to smooth it instinctively. He positioned himself near the center aisle. His presence was meant to calm. But Gideon's eyes never landed on anyone as human. They skimmed surfaces. They measured worth in seconds. Amara entered through the side door. "All rise," the clerk called. The courtroom stood. Amara took the bench. She looked at the docket sheet. Her voice was steady when she spoke. "Case number 4721, Rourke Development versus Pierce," she said. "Counsel, please state your appearances." Rowan stood. "Rowan Hale for Rourke Development, Your Honor." The opposing attorney stood. Her voice was quieter. "Sarah Lynn for Mr. Pierce." Amara nodded. "Proceed." Rowan began his argument. His tone was confident and smooth. He cited precedents. He referenced economic benefits for the community. Amara listened without interruption. Her eyes occasionally moved to Gideon. He sat like the courtroom was his throne. Something shifted in her awareness. She felt the old familiar test approaching. The town was watching. Money was performing. Marisol prepared the next document. Dylan stood near the wall. His hands rested on his belt. The clerk moved to call the formal procedure. Her voice filled the room. "All rise for the court's consideration." The moment was coming. Amara felt it in the silence that hung before movement. The clerk's voice was clear. "All rise." The courtroom stood. Benches creaked, papers rustled, bodies shifted upward. Except Gideon. He remained seated. His posture was casual. His expression was unmoved. The silence sharpened instantly. Amara felt every eye turn toward her. The pressure was immediate and familiar. Dylan took a half step forward. His hand moved toward his side. Then he stopped. His body froze between action and hesitation. Amara's breath caught. She understood the trap. If she reacted, they would call her emotional. They would say she made it about race. The silence stretched. It filled the courtroom with unspoken judgments. People waited to see what she would do. Amara paused. Her chest tightened. She felt the weight of decades pressing down, all the tiny battles, all the careful restraint. She looked at Gideon directly. Her voice was calm. "Mr. Rourke, the court requires all persons to stand during formal proceedings." Gideon smiled slightly. "Of course, Your Honor." He stood slowly. His movement suggested the choice was his. Amara began the proceedings without acknowledging the insult further. Her tone remained professional. She addressed Rowan's motion with precise questions. But the moment lingered. It hung in the air. Everyone had seen it. Dylan felt shame rising in him. He had hesitated. He had protected Gideon's comfort instead of the court's dignity. Marisol's hands tightened on her pen. Her anger was visible only in the whiteness of her knuckles. Lila Brooks sat in the gallery. She watched Amara's face. She saw the restraint and felt both admiration and fury. The hearing continued. Amara ruled on procedural matters. Her voice never wavered. Her expression remained neutral. But inside, she felt the bruise forming. The disrespect was deliberate. It was designed to remind everyone who held real power. When the session ended, Amara stood. "Court is adjourned." The room stood again. This time Gideon stood with them. His smile was thin and knowing. Amara walked to her chambers. The hallway was quiet. Her footsteps echoed alone. She closed the door behind her. The silence felt suddenly fragile. The courtroom's respect had been tested. She wondered how many more tests would come. Marisol entered chambers without knocking. Her voice was sharp. "That was deliberate." "I know," Amara said. She stood at the small sink. She washed her hands slowly. "He needs consequences," Marisol said. "Contempt, sanctions, something." Amara dried her hands carefully. "And if I do that, what happens?" Marisol's jaw tightened. "Justice happens." "Or I become the angry black judge who can't take a joke," Amara said. Her voice was quiet. "You know how this works." Marisol felt frustrated. "So we do nothing?" "I didn't say that," Amara said. She turned to face Marisol. "Dignity is defended best when it's quiet and consistent." A knock interrupted them. Dylan stood in the doorway. His expression was uncertain. "Judge Ellis, Mr. Hale is requesting a moment." Amara nodded. "Show him in." Rowan entered with his briefcase. His smile was polished. "Your Honor, I wanted to apologize for any misunderstanding earlier." "Misunderstanding," Amara repeated. Her tone was neutral. "Mr. Rourke didn't hear the clerk," Rowan said. "He's dealt with some hearing issues recently." "I see," Amara said. "Is that documented medically?" Rowan's smile thinned slightly. "It's a minor issue. Nothing formal." "Then I'll note that all participants are expected to follow courtroom protocol going forward," Amara said. "Was there anything else?" Rowan hesitated. "No, Your Honor. Thank you for your understanding." He left. Marisol waited until the door closed. "He's lying." "Of course he is," Amara said. She sat at her desk. "But he's also creating a record that protects Gideon." Dylan stood awkwardly near the door. "I should have acted faster." Amara looked at him. Her voice was kind. "You were weighing consequences. That's human." "It felt like cowardice," Dylan said. "Sometimes they're hard to tell apart," Amara said. "The question is what you do next." Dylan nodded. He left quietly. Amara sat alone in her chambers. She listened to the building's hum. The old pipes, the settling wood, the distant voices in the hallway. Amara felt tired. Not the tired that sleep fixes, the kind that comes from carrying dignity as both shield and burden. She opened her desk drawer. Inside was a photograph from her swearing-in ceremony. Her mother stood beside her. Pride filled both their faces. Amara closed the drawer. She stood and straightened her robe. The insult was not a mistake. It was a message. She would answer it, but carefully, with patience, with law. Marisol arrived early the next morning. She carried a thick accordion file. Her expression was serious. "Judge Ellis, you need to see these," she said. Amara took the file. Inside were filings from Gideon's development cases. She spread them across her desk. "Aggressive timelines," Marisol said. "Unusual settlement requests. Look at the homeowner signatures." Amara examined the documents. The signatures were shaky. Some pages showed signs of being signed under pressure. "These read like surrender," Amara said. "Because they are," Marisol said. Her voice was firm. "These people didn't negotiate. They were cornered." Lila Brooks knocked on the open door. "Judge Ellis, can I show you something?" "Come in," Amara said. Lila placed a file on the desk. "Unrelated case. Elderly homeowner, Harlan Pierce. He signed a settlement that's basically an eviction notice." Amara read the document. Her chest tightened. "Where is Mr. Pierce now?" "Living with his daughter," Lila said. "He has nowhere else to go." Amara felt anger rising. She controlled it carefully. "Who represented him?" "He couldn't afford a lawyer," Lila said. "Rourke's team said it was friendly paperwork." Marisol's eyes found Amara's. "There's a pattern here." Amara nodded slowly. She saw it clearly now. Disrespect in public, coercion in private, all wrapped in legality. Dylan appeared in the hallway. He had overheard deputies talking. Their voices had been casual and cruel. "Gideon doesn't have to stand for anybody," one deputy said. The others laughed. Dylan felt shame rise in him. It felt hot and shameful. He walked past them without speaking. Later, Dylan entered chambers. "I need to tell you something," he said. "Go ahead," Amara said. "The deputies are mocking you," Dylan said. His voice was quiet. "They think Gideon's disrespect was funny." Amara's expression didn't change. "Thank you for telling me." Dylan left. Amara sat with the files. She felt the larger architecture forming. This wasn't one insult. It was a system. She called Marisol back. "I need deeper documentation on every Rourke case in this courthouse." "That's going to take time," Marisol said. "I have time," Amara said. Her voice was calm. "Pull everything. Quietly." Marisol nodded. Something shifted in her expression. She understood. The judge was building something. Amara closed the files carefully. She was setting her first stone in the path toward confrontation. Amara walked to her car at dusk. The parking lot was nearly empty. Streetlights flickered on. "Judge Ellis," a voice called. She turned. Zeke Carter stood near the courthouse steps. He was 71. His face was lined with patience and experience. "Mr. Carter," Amara said. "Good evening." "Walk with me a moment?" Zeke asked. They moved slowly across the parking lot. The evening air was cool. Zeke's voice was gentle when he spoke. "Power always tries to teach the same lesson," he said. "Know your place." "I know," Amara said. "But you're not alone," Zeke said. His eyes found hers. "The community is watching. We need steadiness more than fireworks." Amara felt something ease in her chest. "Thank you." "Don't thank me yet," Zeke said. "This is just beginning." He walked away slowly. Amara got into her car. She drove home through familiar streets. Dylan drove home separately. His radio was off. His thoughts were loud. He heard his phone ring. It was a colleague from the sheriff's office. Dylan listened as the man laughed too easily about something. "Rourke's good for the town," the colleague said. "We need to remember that." Dylan ended the call. He felt unsettled. The message was clear. Protect the wealthy man. Keep things smooth. That night, a video appeared online. It was shaky and poorly filmed. It showed the all-rise moment from an angle that made Amara appear stern. The clip spread quickly. Comments multiplied. Some people defended her. Others called her petty. Some used words Dylan couldn't read without feeling sick. Amara didn't watch the video. But she heard about it. Marisol called. Lila called. Even Zeke called. "Don't read the comments," Zeke said. "I won't," Amara said. But she felt their weight anyway. The town's mood was shifting. Opinion was forming. Pressure was building. Amara sat in her kitchen. She drank tea and looked at case files. The house was quiet. The night was long. Dawn approached slowly. Amara watched the sky lighten. She felt resolved. The fight was coming whether she wanted it or not. She would be ready. She would be steady. She would be herself. The next morning, Marisol arrived with news. Her voice was tense. The sheriff's office called. They want the Rourke hearing handled quickly. "Why?" Amara asked. "For the town's economic health," Marisol said. She sounded bitter. Their words. Amara's chest tightened. "I see." At 9 o'clock, Rowan filed a new motion. Marisol brought it to Chambers. Amara read it slowly. The motion suggested Amara should clarify courtroom decorum. It framed the standing issue as her sensitivity rather than Gideon's disrespect. "This is deliberate," Marisol said. "Of course it is," Amara said. Her voice was calm. "He's shifting the narrative." Dylan knocked quietly. He entered looking smaller than usual. "Judge Ellis, I need to tell you something." "Sit down," Amara said. Dylan sat. His hands were unsteady. "I heard the sheriff's office talking. They're putting pressure on everyone, telling us to keep things smooth for Rourke." "Who specifically?" Amara asked. Dylan named names. His voice shook slightly. "I should have told you sooner." "You're telling me now," Amara said. "That matters." Dylan left. Amara stood at her window. She looked at the courthouse lawn. People moved between buildings. Life continued. She considered recusing herself. It would be easier. It would avoid the fight. The town could have its simple story. Then she thought of Harlan Pierce's shaking hands. She thought of the homeowners who signed under pressure. She thought of what stepping aside would signal. Amara made her decision. She called Marisol. "Schedule an evidentiary hearing for the Rourke development case." Marisol's breath caught. "When?" 2 weeks, Amara said. "Public record, full documentation." "They'll push back," Marisol said. "Let them," Amara said. Her voice was firm. "And I'm ordering a compliance review of all settlement procedures involving Rourke development." Marisol smiled slightly. "You're locking the doors." "I'm doing my job," Amara said. The news spread through the courthouse within an hour. Reactions were immediate. Some people looked away when Amara passed. Others nodded with quiet respect. Rowan called requesting a meeting. Amara declined. "All communication should be on the record now," she said. That evening, Amara sat alone in her chambers. She felt the weight of what she had chosen. There was no going back. Her phone buzzed. A text from Zeke. "Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's choosing right anyway." Amara smiled slightly. She turned off her lamp. She walked out through the empty courthouse. The doors locked behind her with a solid click. Act 1 was ending. The real fight was beginning. Word spread through the courthouse overnight. Amara had slowed Gideon's case. The evidentiary hearing was scheduled. The compliance review was ordered. The building's energy changed. Amara felt it in the hallway greetings that stopped too soon. She heard it in the longer pauses before people responded. Lawyers who usually smiled now nodded briefly. Court staff moved with careful distance. The warmth had drained from routine interactions. Rowan filed a motion requesting special accommodations. He cited Gideon's business schedule. He suggested evening hearings would be more convenient for all parties. Amara denied the motion in writing. Her response was brief and procedural. "The court sets its own calendar," she wrote. Rowan appeared at her chamber's door that afternoon. His smile was practiced. "Your Honor, I'm trying to make this easier for everyone." "The hearing will proceed as scheduled," Amara said. "Mr. Rourke is doing important work for this community," Rowan said. "Surely we can find accommodation." "The law doesn't accommodate wealth," Amara said. Her voice was quiet. "Is there anything else?" Rowan's expression tightened. "No, Your Honor." He left. Amara felt the isolation settling in. She knew what was happening. They were making her pay for refusing to bend. Lila knocked softly. "Judge Ellis, can I ask you something?" "Come in," Amara said. Lila sat carefully. Her hands twisted together. "Does doing the right thing always feel like standing alone?" Amara looked at her. "Often, yes." "How do you keep going?" Lila asked. "The law is a long road," Amara said. "Loneliness doesn't mean you're wrong." Lila nodded. Her eyes were uncertain. "What if they break you?" "Then they break me," Amara said. "But they won't break the record." Lila left, looking steadier. Amara returned to her desk. She found a new filing from Rowan's office. They had submitted 12 motions, all technical, all designed to exhaust the court's time and patience. Marisol appeared. "They're burying us in paperwork." "I know," Amara said. "We'll handle them one at a time." "This is retaliation," Marisol said. "This is strategy," Amara said. Her voice was calm. "They want us tired and frustrated." Marisol's jaw tightened. "It's working." "Then we rest when we need to," Amara said, "and we keep building the record." The day ended slowly. Amara walked through the courthouse. Conversation stopped when she passed. Eyes looked away. She felt the cold settling in. This was the price of principle. Isolation served as warning. But Amara kept walking. Her steps were steady. Her breathing was even. Dylan was called into the sheriff's office at noon. Sheriff Marcus Trent sat behind his desk. His expression was friendly, but firm. "Have a seat, Mercer," Marcus said. Dylan sat. His chest tightened. "We need to talk about the courthouse situation," Marcus said. "Things are getting complicated." "Yes, sir," Dylan said. "Gideon Rourke is good for this town," Marcus said. "His developments bring jobs. His donations support our community programs." Dylan nodded slowly. He saw where this was going. "We need things to stay smooth," Marcus said. "No unnecessary friction. No drama. You understand?" "You want me to keep things calm," Dylan said. "Exactly," Marcus said. He smiled. "I knew you'd get it. You're a professional." Dylan felt his badge growing heavier. "What if the judge's orders create friction?" Marcus's smile thinned. "Then you use good judgment. Find ways to de-escalate. Keep things comfortable for everyone." "Including Mr. Rourke," Dylan said. "Including everyone," Marcus said. His tone sharpened slightly. "Your pension is 17 years deep, Mercer. Don't complicate things now." Dylan left the office. His hands were shaking. He walked back to the courthouse, feeling smaller. He watched younger deputies in the hallway. They mimicked Gideon's casual disrespect without understanding what they were doing. They laughed too easily. They tested boundaries that shouldn't move. One deputy sat in the clerk's chair. Marisol asked him to move. He stood slowly, performing inconvenience. Dylan should have corrected him, but Marcus's words echoed. Keep things smooth. Protect your pension. Don't make waves. Dylan walked past. He hated himself for it. Marisol noticed his shaken hands. She followed him to the break room. What happened? Nothing, Dylan said. Dylan, Marisol said. Her voice was quiet. I know what nothing looks like. That's not it. Dylan poured coffee he didn't want. They told me to keep things comfortable for Rourke. Marisol's eyes widened. The sheriff's office? Dylan nodded. He couldn't look at her. And you're going to do it? Marisol asked. I have a family, Dylan said. His voice sounded hollow. I have 17 years invested. We all have something to lose, Marisol said. She left quietly. Dylan stood alone. He heard his own voice in his head. Keep the peace. It sounded less like wisdom and more like cowardice. He thought about Amara's steady calm. He thought about how she carried dignity without demanding it. He thought about the difference between keeping peace and surrendering it. Dylan threw the coffee away. He returned to his post. His uniform felt wrong suddenly, less like service and more like costume. Marisol stayed late on Thursday. The courthouse was quiet. Only security remained on the lower floors. She opened the digital filing system. She began reviewing Rourke development cases systematically, one file at a time. 2 hours in, she found the first irregularity, a timestamp that didn't match the docket history. The document showed filed at 9 a.m. The system log showed accessed at 11 p.m. the night before. Marisol felt her pulse quicken. She kept searching. More irregularities appeared. Missing attachments, altered version numbers, documents that should have been sequential but weren't. She printed everything carefully. She created a spreadsheet tracking each discrepancy. Her hands moved quickly but precisely. At midnight, she heard footsteps in the hallway. She froze. The footsteps paused near her door. Marisol held her breath. The handle turned slightly, then stopped. The footsteps moved away. She waited 5 minutes. Her heart pounded. Then she gathered her papers and locked everything in her desk. The next morning she arrived early. She requested a meeting with Judge Ellis. Amara listened as Marisol explained. She reviewed the spreadsheet without interrupting. Her expression remained calm. This is significant, Amara said. Someone accessed the system after hours, Marisol said. Someone with administrative privileges. Can you determine who? Amara asked. Not without IT help, Marisol said, and I'm afraid to ask. Amara felt grateful for Marisol's courage. You've done excellent work. I'm scared, Marisol said. Her voice was quiet. Someone tried my door last night. Amara's chest tightened. You're sure? I heard the handle turn, Marisol said. I wasn't imagining it. We'll request a digital forensics review, Amara said. We'll keep it procedural, a routine audit. Will that protect me? Marisol asked. I hope so, Amara said. She wouldn't lie. But you can stop now if you need to. Marisol shook her head. No, this matters. They filed the forensics request that afternoon. The language was careful and technical. Nothing suggested suspicion or urgency. Rowan appeared the next day. He found Marisol at her desk. His questions felt casual but measured. Ms. Vega, how long have you worked here? He asked. 12 years, Marisol said. You must know the systems well, Rowan said. He smiled. All the filing procedures. I do my job, Marisol said. Of course, Rowan said. I'm sure you're very thorough. He left. Marisol felt like she'd been inventoried. catalogued, assessed for weakness. That evening, she locked her office carefully. She tested the handle twice. She walked to her car looking over her shoulder. Someone had tried her door. Someone knew she was looking. The case had moved past paperwork into something darker. Lila drove to Harlan Pierce's daughter's house on Saturday morning. The neighborhood was modest, small houses with careful yards. Harlan answered the door. He was 73. His clothes were clean but worn. His eyes were tired. "Mr. Pierce, I'm Lila Brooks," she said. "I'm the public defender reviewing your case." "I don't have a case anymore," Harlan said. His voice was flat. "I signed the papers." "Can I talk to you anyway?" Lila asked. Harlan let her inside. The living room was small. Photos covered the walls. Children. Grandchildren. A life built over decades. "Tell me what happened," Lila said. Harlan sat slowly. His hands trembled in his lap. "They came to my house 3 times, always polite, always smiling." "Who came?" Lila asked. "Mr. Rourke's people," Harlan said. "They said the land survey showed I was encroaching, said I'd lose everything in court." "Were you encroaching?" Lila asked. "I don't know," Harlan said. His voice broke slightly. "I built that fence 40 years ago. They showed me papers, maps. I couldn't afford a lawyer to fight it." Lila felt anger rising. "What did they offer?" $20,000 for a $100,000 property, Harlan said. "They said it was generous considering my situation." "What situation?" Lila asked. "Being old," Harlan said. "Being alone, being scared." Lila's breath caught. She saw the humiliation in his face, the way shame had become his burden instead of theirs. "I had nowhere else to go," Harlan said. "My daughter took me in, but this is her house, not mine. I sleep on her couch." Lila returned to the courthouse, shaken. She found Amara in chambers. "You need to meet Mr. Pierce." "Bring him Monday," Amara said, quietly. Monday afternoon, Harlan sat in Amara's chambers. He avoided eye contact. His shoulders were hunched. "Mr. Pierce, I'm Judge Ellis," Amara said. Her voice was gentle. "Thank you for coming." "Yes, ma'am," Harlan said. Amara asked careful questions. Harlan answered in short sentences. The story emerged piece by piece. Polite threats, legal-sounding pressure, isolation weaponized. Amara felt her resolve harden without her heart. Hardening. This was why the law mattered. Not for revenge, for protection. In the courtroom later, Gideon's team treated Harlan's file like paperwork. They referenced him by case number. They never said his name. Dylan watched Harlan's trembling hands. He felt anger at himself. For every time he'd chosen neutrality, for believing silence was harmless. Amara ordered temporary protections for vulnerable residents pending the compliance review. The ruling was procedural but meaningful. Gideon noticed. His jaw tightened. His lawyer whispered urgently. The small victory had drawn his full attention. Gideon attended the Wednesday hearing in person. He wore a navy suit and an easy smile. The gallery was full. He sat in the front row. His posture was relaxed and confident. He nodded to people he recognized. He performed charm for the watching crowd. Rowan presented a procedural motion. His argument was technical and polished. Amara listened without expression. "Your Honor, the compliance review is unnecessarily broad," Rowan said. "It disrupts legitimate business operations." "The review is standard procedure," Amara said. "Your objection is noted and denied." Rowan sat. Gideon leaned forward and muttered something. His voice was quiet but deliberate. "Playing judge." The words landed. Not loud enough to punish. Not soft enough to miss. The courtroom stiffened. Even people who avoided conflict felt the sting. Amara's chest tightened. Dylan's hand moved toward his belt, then stopped. His body was caught between action and fear. Amara did not react outwardly. Her expression remained calm. But inside, she recognized the old tactic perfectly. Bait the marginalized person into anger. Then punish them for it. Make their dignity the problem. She continued the hearing. Her voice stayed level. She addressed each motion with precision. She gave Gideon nothing to weaponize. When the session ended, Amara made an announcement. The evidentiary hearing is confirmed for March 14th at 9 a.m. All parties are required to attend. Your Honor, Rowan said, Mr. Rourke has prior commitments that day. Then he should adjust his schedule, Amara said. This hearing is mandatory and public record. Rowan's expression tightened. We'll file an objection. You're welcome to, Amara said. Court is adjourned. The room stood. Gideon stood last. His smile had thinned. The performance was slipping. Amara walked to chambers. Lila followed. He muttered that deliberately. I know, Amara said. You should cite him for contempt, Lila said. And give him the confrontation he wants? Amara asked. No. The record speaks louder than my anger. Marisol appeared. The forensics request was approved. They're starting next week. Amara felt something shift. The pieces were moving into place. Good. Gideon left the courthouse surrounded by staff. Reporters asked questions. He smiled and waved. The judge and I have different opinions on efficiency. That's democracy. The quote appeared online within an hour. It framed Amara as bureaucratic and obstructive. Comments multiplied. The narrative was being shaped. But Amara had set the hearing date. Public. Mandatory. Unavoidable. Gideon's smile might be thin now, but soon it would disappear entirely. Lila entered chambers early Thursday. Her voice was urgent. I want to confront him directly. Who? Amara asked. Rourke, Lila said. In the hallway, on record. Make him answer for what he's doing. Sit down, Amara said. Lila sat. Her hands were tight fists. He's destroying people. Someone needs to call him out. And you think confrontation will stop him? Amara asked. It might make him accountable, Lila said. Amara's voice was calm. Accountability comes from the record, not from anger in hallways. But he gets away with everything, Lila said. Her frustration was clear. The muttering, the disrespect, the smiles. For now, Amara said. But we're building something stronger than outrage. What? Lila asked. Truth, Amara said. Documented, witnessed, undeniable. Lila's breath caught. How do you stay this calm? I'm not calm inside, Amara said. I'm disciplined. There's a difference. Teach me, Lila said. Amara looked at her carefully. Build the case. Protect the vulnerable. Let truth do the shouting. Your clients need your strategy more than your passion. Lila nodded slowly. She left looking steadier. That afternoon, Dylan knocked quietly. He entered chambers looking uncertain. Judge Ellis, I need to tell you something. Go ahead, Amara said. The sheriff's office is leaning on me, Dylan said. His voice was quiet. They want me to keep things comfortable for Rourke. I know, Amara said. Dylan looked surprised. You know? I've seen this before, Amara said. Pressure works through people who have something to lose. I'm scared, Dylan said. The admission cost him. I have 17 years, a family, a pension. I understand, Amara said. Her voice was kind. Courage isn't a personality trait. It's a choice made repeatedly, often while afraid. What if I can't make that choice? Dylan asked. Then you can't, Amara said. But telling me the truth right now, that's courage already. Dylan's eyes found hers. Something shifted in his expression. What do you need from me? Keep doing your job honestly, Amara said. Document everything you hear. Dates, names, exact words. Why? Dylan asked. Because truth needs witnesses, Amara said, and witnesses need protection. Dylan left. Amara felt grateful. One person choosing honesty could shift everything. Marisol appeared with a timeline. She had compiled every document irregularity. The pattern was clear and damning. This is excellent work, Amara said. I'm still scared, Marisol said. Fear means you understand the stakes, Amara said. It doesn't mean you're wrong. The case was taking shape, less like a fight, more like a map, leading toward inevitable truth. Rowan requested a private meeting Friday afternoon. Amara agreed. Marisol sat in as witness. Rowan entered with his briefcase and his polished smile. Your Honor, I wanted to discuss a possible resolution. I'm listening, Amara said. Rowan opened a folder. Mr. Rourke's foundation is prepared to make substantial community investments. Courthouse renovations, scholarship programs, legal aid funding. That's generous, Amara said. Her tone was neutral. We'd want to partner with community leaders, Rowan said. People who understand the town's needs. Your name came up repeatedly. Amara felt the trap. My name. You'd be perfect for the advisory board, Rowan said. Your insight would be invaluable, and the foundation could fund a wing named in your honor. Marisol's jaw tightened. Amara's expression didn't change. In exchange for what? Amara asked. Simply moving forward, Rowan said. His smile was warm. Streamlining the development process, recognizing that community benefit sometimes requires flexibility. You're asking me to trade justice for donations, Amara said. Rowan's smile faltered. I'm offering community partnership. The court cannot be purchased, Amara said. Her voice was quiet and firm. Not with buildings, not with scholarships, not with my name on a plaque. Your Honor, be reasonable, Rowan said. I am being reasonable, Amara said. The answer is no. Is there anything else? Rowan's expression tightened. He had never been refused politely before. You're making a mistake. That's my risk to take, Amara said. This meeting is over. Rowan left. Marisol exhaled slowly. That was a bribe. Yes, Amara said. An elegant one, Marisol said. Still a bribe, Amara said. Within hours, word spread. Gideon's assistant leaked carefully to reporters. Judge Ellis is blocking community progress. The phrasing was precise and damaging. Whispers became open criticism. People who had been neutral now questioned Amara's motives. The town wanted certainty, jobs, easy answers. Amara walked through the courthouse corridor at day's end. Conversation stopped around her. People looked away. The loneliness was no longer subtle. It was visible. Dylan watched from his post. He saw the isolation settling on her shoulders. He felt ashamed he wasn't standing beside her. Lila found Amara in chambers. They're turning people against you. I know, Amara said. How do you handle it? Lila asked. Amara looked tired. One day at a time. She drove home slowly. The town looked different somehow. Less like community, more like judgment. But she had refused the offer. The record remained clean. Her integrity was intact. That had to be enough. The forensic request was delayed Monday morning. An email arrived citing resource constraints and scheduling conflicts. The review was postponed indefinitely. Marisol brought the news to Amara. Her voice was bitter. They're stalling. Of course they are, Amara said. That afternoon, Rowan won a small procedural ruling. A technicality allowed partial movement on Gideon's project, just enough for headlines. Rourke development back on track, the local paper announced. Judge's delays overcome. The town's mood swung immediately. People were hungry for good news, for jobs, for the promise of progress. Amara felt how easily communities traded dignity for fear, how quickly principle became inconvenient. Dylan tried to intervene with a deputy who mocked Amara in the break room. "Show some respect," Dylan said. The deputy laughed. "For what? She's just making things difficult." Dylan's words came out timid. "She's doing her job." "Her job is to help this town," the deputy said, "not hurt it." Dylan walked away. He hated himself for backing down. His courage failed him again. That evening, the courthouse video resurfaced online. Someone had re-edited it. Now Amara appeared confrontational. Her expression looked harsh. Her pause seemed aggressive. The edited version spread faster than truth. Comments multiplied. Some defended her. Many didn't. "She's too sensitive. Making everything about race. Rourke is trying to help and she's blocking him." The narrative was shifting. Gideon was becoming the victim. Amara was becoming the problem. Lila called Amara at home. "Have you seen it?" "No," Amara said. "And I won't." "It's bad," Lila said. "People are believing it." "People believe what's comfortable," Amara said. Her voice was tired. "Not what's true." "How do you fight this?" Lila asked. "With the record," Amara said. "With patience. With law." She ended the call. She sat in her kitchen with the lights off. The doubt pressed in despite her discipline. Maybe she was wrong. Maybe she was hurting the town. Maybe stepping aside would be kinder. Amara stared at the altered video on her phone. She watched herself transformed into something she wasn't. The loneliness felt complete. But tomorrow she would return to court. She would continue building the record. She would protect the vulnerable, even if the whole town believed the lie, even if she stood alone. The law was still true. Justice was still possible. Amara turned off her phone. She sat in the dark. Act 2 was ending. The isolation was total. But the fight wasn't finished. Amara returned to court Tuesday morning. The building felt different, colder, more hostile. She entered her chambers and found files misplaced. Exhibits were missing from their folders. Papers were out of order. Marisol arrived, looking shaken. "Someone accessed the clerk system after hours again." "When?" Amara asked. "Last night," Marisol said. Fear entered her voice for the first time. "I checked the logs this morning. Administrative access at 11 p.m. "Who has those privileges?" Amara asked. "Court administrators," Marisol said. "IT staff, and anyone with sheriff's office clearance." Amara's chest tightened. The sabotage was no longer subtle. "Can you secure what's left?" "I'll try," Marisol said. Staff acted overly careful throughout the morning. They spoke too softly. They avoided eye contact. They moved as if Amara might explode. Dylan heard colleagues in the break room. Their voices carried through the thin walls. "Ellis is dangerous," one deputy said. "She's out to prove something." "Rourke's going to sue the county," another said. "We'll all pay for her ego." Dylan felt sick. The system was protecting itself by turning dignity into threat. He found Amara between hearings. "They're calling you dangerous." "I know," Amara said. Her voice was steady. "It's not true," Dylan said. "Truth doesn't matter when fear is easier," Amara said. The loneliness deepened around her, but underneath it, something steadier was forming. Clarity. That afternoon, Amara called the State Judicial Oversight Office. She requested protective measures for court records. She documented the after-hours access. She raised the stakes beyond the town's control. "This will make things worse," Marisol said. "Things are already worse," Amara said. "Now we're making them official." The request went on record. Word spread quickly. The courthouse buzzed with nervous energy. Rowan appeared at chambers. "Your Honor, this is escalating unnecessarily." "Someone is tampering with court records," Amara said. "That's not escalation. That's corruption." Rowan's expression tightened. "You're painting this entire town as criminals." "I'm protecting the integrity of this court," Amara said. "If that offends anyone, they're welcome to explain why." Rowan left without responding. Amara stood at her window. She watched the parking lot fill with reporters. The silence hung heavy. She had locked the doors. There was no retreat now, only forward through whatever came next. Wednesday morning brought Rowan's counterattack. A motion to recuse Judge Ellis, 40 pages, professionally bound. Marisol delivered it to Chambers. Her hands shook. They attached the edited video. Amara read the motion carefully. The language was precise and cruel. It cited demonstrated bias. It referenced inflammatory behavior. It used the altered footage as evidence. "They're forcing the insult back onto you," Marisol said. "Yes," Amara said. Her voice was calm. "This is how prejudice launders itself through procedure." The motion spread through town within hours. People discussed it openly. The edited video circulated again. Gossip became legal argument. Dylan was told directly by his supervisor, "Stay out of this. Don't get involved." Dylan nodded out of habit, then felt sick afterward. His silence was becoming complicity. Lila entered Chambers that afternoon. Her eyes were red. "I'm thinking about quitting." "Why?" Amara asked. "Because the machine is too large," Lila said. "We can't win." Amara looked at her carefully. "Quitting is a privilege the displaced don't have." "What does that mean?" Lila asked. "Mr. Pierce can't quit being homeless," Amara said. "The other homeowners can't quit being vulnerable. We can quit fighting for them, but they can't quit needing us." Lila's breath caught. "I didn't think about it that way." "Most people don't," Amara said. Her voice was kind. "That's why they quit." Lila left looking steadier but frightened. Amara returned to the motion. She began drafting her response. The recusal hearing was scheduled for Friday. 2 days away. The courtroom would become a referendum on Amara herself. That evening, Zeke called. "The community is watching." "I know," Amara said. "Some are angry at you," Zeke said, "but more are afraid. Fear makes people choose convenience." "I understand," Amara said. "Keep being steady," Zeke said. "Steadiness outlasts anger." Amara ended the call. She worked late into the night. Her response was clear and factual. She cited law. She documented the altered video's origins. She let truth speak without anger. The town might want her gone. The system might pressure her to quit. But the record would remain. And the vulnerable would have one more day of protection. That was enough. It had to be enough. Marisol arrived at dawn Thursday. She had been awake all night. Her eyes showed both exhaustion and determination. "I found something," she said. Amara looked up from her desk. "Show me." Marisol placed printed pages on the desk. Email chains, archived correspondence, buried in old server backups. "These are from 3 years ago," Marisol said, "before Rourke started his current projects." Amara read carefully. The language was coded, but clear. Donations coordinated with support from local offices. Mutual understanding regarding permitting timelines. Appreciation expressed through community partnerships. "This shows the pattern," Amara said. "It shows corruption," Marisol said, "but I'm terrified of what happens when I hand this over." Her voice shook. Her hands trembled on the desk. "They'll know it was me. They'll come after me." Amara felt grateful and guilty. "You can stop now. You've done more than enough." "If I stop, who protects the next person?" Marisol asked. "The next Mr. Pierce?" The silence stretched between them. heavy with consequence. Dylan appeared in the doorway. He had been listening. "I've been documenting the pressure, too." "What pressure?" Amara asked. "Every conversation with the sheriff's office," Dylan said. "Dates, names, exact words. I wrote it all down." His eyes found Amara's. "I was afraid. I'm still afraid, but I'm more afraid of who I become if I stay silent." Something shifted in his expression. Fear transformed into resolve. That afternoon, Zeke found Dylan in the courthouse hallway. His voice was gentle but firm. "Silence doesn't stay neutral," Zeke said. "It chooses a side." "I know," Dylan said. "Then choose," Zeke said. "While choosing still matters." Dylan returned to his desk. He printed his documentation. Every intimidating phone call. Every suggestion to keep things smooth. Every threat wrapped in friendly language. He placed the pages in a sealed envelope. He addressed it to the State Oversight Office. His hand shook as he sealed it. That evening, Marisol slipped the email chain into Amara's hands. Her eyes were shining with dread and relief. "Make it count," Marisol whispered. "I will," Amara said. She held the evidence carefully. These pages represented courage from ordinary people. People who had everything to lose. The truth was emerging, not from anger, not from spectacle, from quiet choices made in fear, from people deciding integrity mattered more than safety. Tomorrow was the recusal hearing, but tonight the record grew stronger. Dylan drove home Thursday evening. His route was familiar. Same streets, same turns. A car followed, not close, not aggressive, just present, steady, deliberate. Dylan's chest tightened. He turned left. The car turned left. He turned right. The car turned right. Not threatening, just reminding. You can be watched. You can be reached. Dylan pulled into his driveway. The car drove past slowly. He saw a figure inside. He couldn't see a face. He sat in his car for 10 minutes. His hands gripped the steering wheel. His breathing was shallow. Inside, his wife asked if he was okay. "Fine," he said. But he wasn't. Lila received an anonymous message that night. Text from an unknown number. "Your student loans are substantial. Your mother needs care. Think carefully about your choices." The threat was clear. The fear was immediate. Real-world consequences. Family vulnerability. Financial ruin. Lila called Amara. Her voice was shaking. "They know about my family." "I'm sorry," Amara said. "What do I do?" Lila asked. "Whatever you need to stay safe," Amara said. "No one will judge you for protecting your family." "But what about Mr. Pierce?" Lila asked. "What about the others?" "I'll protect them," Amara said. "You protect yourself." Lila ended the call. She sat in the dark. Her courage wavered under the weight of real threat. Amara sat in her kitchen. Case files surrounded her. The house was quiet. The night was long. She felt the old exhaustion, the kind that comes from living twice. Once as yourself, once as what others project onto you. She considered what it would feel like to step down, to let the town have its easy story, to stop fighting. The relief would be immediate, the pressure would end, life would return to normal. But Mr. Pierce would still be homeless. The next vulnerable person would still be alone, and justice would still be for sale. Amara looked at her reflection in the dark window. She saw her mother's face in her own features. She remembered her mother's voice. Dignity is not negotiable. She rose before dawn. She put on her robe with deliberate care. Each button, each fold, each preparation was a choice. The harder path, the lonely path, the path that mattered. The world was still sleeping. But Amara was awake, and she was ready. Orchestrated dramatic courtroom scene with procedural precision. I need to track my formulas and make sure I'm hitting them in this final act. The courthouse filled early Friday morning. Reporters lined the back wall. Townspeople crowded the benches. Homeowners sat quietly in the gallery. Officials arrived in suits. Deputies stood at attention. The air buzzed with anticipation. Some faces were hungry for certainty, some for blood, some for hope. All waited to see what would happen. Gideon arrived performing humility. He stood when the clerk called order. He stood too early, too deliberately. The gesture looked rehearsed. He smiled at the gallery. He nodded to people he recognized. His performance was careful and calculated. Rowan approached the bench. His suit was pressed. His briefcase was polished. His confidence was visible. Your Honor, we request this hearing proceed with full transparency, Rowan said. It will, Amara said. Her voice was steady. The clerk called the court to order. The room quieted. Amara felt every eye on her. Rowan began his argument. His voice was smooth and persuasive. He cited the edited video. He referenced alleged bias. He painted Amara as emotional and unreasonable. The appearance of impartiality has been compromised, Rowan said. Justice requires a neutral arbiter. The video played on a screen. The edited version. Amara's pause looked aggressive. Her expression looked harsh. The context was stripped away. The silence hung in the courtroom. People shifted uncomfortably. Some nodded. Some frowned. The narrative was being reinforced. Amara listened without interruption. Her face was calm. Her hands were still. She gave them nothing. When Rowan finished, Amara spoke. Her voice was clear and measured. The video presented has been altered from its original form, she said. The full unedited footage shows a different sequence and context. She cited legal precedent. She referenced procedural standards. She explained bias versus principle with precision. Enforcing courtroom decorum is not bias, Amara said. Protecting vulnerable parties is not prejudice. Requesting documentation is not obstruction. Her reasoning left little room for spectacle. It was law, pure and clear. The motion to recuse is denied, Amara said. The evidentiary hearing will proceed as scheduled Monday at 9 a.m. Rowan's jaw tightened. Your Honor, we object. Your objection is noted and denied, Amara said. Gideon's confidence flickered, just for a moment. His smile thinned. His posture stiffened. The room shifted. People sensed the change. The narrative was cracking. Amara adjourned court. The room stood. This time everyone rose together, even Gideon. But the gesture came too late, too obviously calculated. It landed as performance rather than respect. The weekend arrived. The town buzzed with nervous energy. Monday was coming. The real hearing. The truth would speak. Monday morning arrived cold and clear. The courtroom filled to capacity. Extra chairs lined the walls. Amara took the bench at 9 exactly. We will proceed with the evidentiary hearing. Call your first witness. The state's digital forensics expert took the stand. His name was Dr. Marcus Chen. His credentials were extensive. Dr. Chen, what did your analysis reveal? The state attorney asked. Multiple irregularities, Dr. Chen said. Timestamps altered on 14 documents. Files accessed after hours without proper authorization. Version histories inconsistent with standard procedures. Can you be more specific? The attorney asked. Documents dated as filed at 9 a.m. show digital signatures from 11 p.m. the previous night, Dr. Chen said. That's impossible under lawful procedures. The courtroom shifted. People leaned forward. The testimony was technical, but damning. Rowan cross-examined carefully. Could these be system errors? No, Dr. Chen said. The pattern is deliberate and consistent. This was intentional manipulation. Marisol was called next. She walked to the stand with steady steps. Her voice was clear despite her fear. "Ms. Vega, what did you discover?" the attorney asked. "Missing attachments, altered version numbers, documents that didn't match the official docket," Marisol said. "How long have you worked in this courthouse?" the attorney asked. 12 years, Marisol said. "I've never seen irregularities at this scale." Rowan tried to discredit her. "Isn't it possible you made filing errors?" "No," Marisol said. Her eyes found Amara's. "I documented every discrepancy. Dates, times, file numbers. The pattern is clear." The room was silent now. People realized this was no longer about manners. It was about manipulation. Gideon's jaw tightened. His hands gripped the armrest. The first crack appeared in his carefully managed image. The email chain was entered as evidence. 3 years of coded language, donations tied to support, community partnerships that looked transactional. Rowan objected repeatedly. Hearsay, speculation, irrelevant. "Overruled," Amara said. Each time, firmly, the record was speaking. Numbers, timestamps, digital trails, truth emerging through documentation. Dylan was called next. His name echoed in the suddenly quiet courtroom. He stood. His uniform was pressed. His hands were steady. He walked to the stand. The room held its breath. Everyone wondered which man he would be. Dylan raised his right hand. He swore to tell the truth. He sat in the witness chair. The attorney approached. "Deputy Mercer, please describe any pressure you experienced regarding this case." Dylan's voice was steady. "I was called into the sheriff's office. Sheriff Trent told me to keep things smooth for Mr. Rourke." "What did he mean by smooth?" the attorney asked. "No friction, no drama. Keep things comfortable for Rourke," Dylan said. "He mentioned my pension. 17 years. He said not to complicate things now." The courtroom stirred. Deputies in uniform shifted uncomfortably. The sheriff sat stone-faced in the back. "Did you document these conversations?" the attorney asked. "Yes," Dylan said. "Dates, times, exact words. I wrote everything down." His honesty made him look older and freer at once. The fear was still there, but courage was stronger. Rowan cross-examined. "Deputy Mercer, isn't it possible you misunderstood?" "No," Dylan said. "The message was clear. Protect the wealthy man's comfort, even if it costs the court's dignity." Gideon stood suddenly. Too dramatically. Too late. "This is ridiculous. I've done nothing wrong." The gesture was theatrical. It landed as performance rather than righteousness. People saw through it. "Mr. Rourke, please sit down," Amara said. Her voice was firm. Gideon remained standing. His face was red. His control was slipping. "I came here in good faith." "Sit down," Amara said, "or I will hold you in contempt." Gideon sat slowly. His smile was gone completely. The cracks were visible now. Rowan looked cornered. His polished confidence was fading. The attorney pressed him. "Mr. Hale, do you have any additional evidence to present?" Rowan hesitated. His conscience and his loyalty were at war. He reached into his briefcase. "I have correspondence," Rowan said. His voice was flat. "Between Rourke Development and local officials, regarding charitable donations coordinated with development approvals." The courtroom went silent. Rowan was stepping off a cliff. He knew it. Everyone knew it. "These documents were requested during discovery," Rowan said. "I withheld them. That was wrong." He handed them to the clerk. His hands shook slightly. His carefully built career was crumbling. Amara reviewed the correspondence. The connection was explicit. Money for influence, charity as leverage. "The court finds sufficient evidence of procedural violations and potential corruption," Amara said. "I am imposing sanctions on Rourke Development. I am referring this matter for criminal investigation. and I am ordering immediate protections for all affected homeowners." Her ruling was firm, but not cruel. Justice shaped shelter rather than revenge. "Mr. Pierce and others will have legal representation," Amara said. "Settlement agreements signed under duress will be reviewed. No resident will be displaced pending investigation." The courtroom stood at adjournment, not because they were told, but because they understood. Something had shifted. Truth had won, not through spectacle, through patience, through law, through ordinary people choosing courage. Weeks passed quietly. The town was different now, chastened, quieter. Some still grumbled, but the vulnerable residents had breathing room. Fear was no longer the only currency. Gideon Rourke settled the cases without admission of guilt. His foundation's promises disappeared. His presence in town diminished. He was smaller now. Ordinary. The criminal investigation continued. Slowly. Thoroughly. The truth was being documented officially. Dillon trained younger deputies differently now. He gathered them in the break room one morning. "Keeping the peace means protecting dignity," Dillon said. "Not power. Remember that." They listened. Some understood immediately. Others would learn. But the culture was changing. Marisol returned to her desk with steadier hands. She no longer checked her door handle twice. She moved through the courthouse with quiet confidence. Lila argued cases with calmer discipline. She still felt passion, but she channeled it into strategy. She honored the people she served. One morning she won a difficult case. The client cried with relief. Lila felt proud but humble. "You did this," the client said. "Judge Ellis taught me how," Lila said. Amara walked past a new plaque near the courtroom entrance. Simple words engraved in brass. "Equal justice under law." She paused. She touched the cool metal briefly. She felt not triumph, but quiet restoration. The benches where people once measured her worth were just benches now. Wood and fabric. Nothing more. Zeke found her in the hallway. "You did good work." "We did good work," Amara said. "It took many people." "It always does," Zeke said. He smiled. "But someone has to stand first." Amara returned to chambers. She hung her robe carefully. The fabric settled on its hook. Outside, the courthouse lawn was green. People moved between buildings. Life continued with its ordinary rhythm. Mr. Pierce visited that afternoon. He brought her a card. His handwriting was shaky but sincere. "Thank you for seeing me," he had written, "for remembering I was human." Amara placed the card on her desk. These moments mattered more than headlines. She looked out her window at the parking lot, the benches, the people, the town that had tested her. Justice was not revenge. It was protection. It was patience. It was a posture the soul must practice daily. Amara felt at peace.